What's up guys, Mickle here, and we just got some very exciting news that you guys need to see. It looks like Ripple just got two huge wins. One in the court against the SEC and one on the legislative front for clarity on XRP going forward. Guys, Attorney Fred found something huge in the most recent filing in the Ripple SEC case. This just got put out today, and when I initially saw it, I actually thought it was a bad ruling, a ruling that went against Ripple, but Attorney Fred showed me something that I did not see at first, and guys, this is extremely bullish. It looks like Judge netburn might have already made up her mind on the Bill Hinman Ethereum free pass emails, and it is excellent news for Ripple. Make sure you guys stick around for that. You guys are not going to believe this. We also got some very exciting news on the legislative front for XRP clarity. A question that a lot of people have been asking is whether or not the new Senator Lummis bill is only going to make Bitcoin and Ethereum a commodity and make everything else a security. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys an extremely interesting clip from the author of the Senator Lummis bill, where he is directly asked about XRP and whether or not this new bill would make XRP a security or a commodity. You guys are not going to want to miss that because it is actually extremely bullish, and he breaks this thing down, and it makes me so happy about this upcoming Senator Lummis bill. Make sure you guys stick around for that. It is something you guys are not going to want to miss. Like always, guys, if you are new to this channel or come here all the time, please take a second to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It goes such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it really does mean so much to me. If you guys are ever looking for a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out the link in the description below. And with that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you enjoy the content. So guys, before we jump into it, make sure you use the link in the description below to get 6 free stocks using MOO-MOO. All you have to do is deposit $1. I have some friends who did it and they went up to $100. So make sure you check that out if you want some free stocks. But let's jump into this video. And guys, we just got a brand new ruling in the Ripple SEC case. When I first saw this ruling, I actually thought it was really bad news for Ripple. And I think when I initially read it to you guys are actually going to agree with my gut reaction. But after I took some time to break this down and talk to some of the different lawyers, guys, I realized this is actually extremely bullish. So make sure you stick around for that because you guys are not going to believe it once I break this down. Let me read you the initial ruling and let me show you what my initial response was. Out of James K. Filan, the court orders the SEC to provide the court by June 16th 10 additional documents for in-camera review to assist the court with its decision regarding the SEC's claim of attorney-client privilege in connection with the Hinman speech. So we know the SEC is desperately trying to not hand over the Bill Hinman Ethereum free pass documents. The SEC originally tried to say that these documents should be covered by the DPP privilege. They were denied on that, and then they tried to come back to the court and say they shouldn't have to hand over these documents because they are covered by the attorney-client privilege. Judge netburn is still trying to decide whether or not these documents should be covered by the attorney-client privilege, but we know so far the SEC has been losing pretty badly on this argument. We saw the hearing the other day, the in-person hearing between Ripple and the SEC, and the SEC attorney got absolutely toasted, and it looked like the SEC had almost zero chance of winning their attorney-client argument, and it looked like the SEC was going to have to hand over all the Bill Hinman emails to Ripple. But just today, we got this surprise ruling in which the court is actually asking the SEC to hand over 10 documents from the 68 they have in connection to the speech, and the court is going to review these to get a better idea of whether or not the entire 68 documents should apply for the attorney-client privilege. So when I first heard that, I was pretty mad because I was like, why wouldn't the court just ask for all the documents? How is Judge netburn only going to look at 10 documents and make a decision on whether the rest of the 68 should be covered by attorney-client privilege? Plus, we saw Ripple absolutely destroy the SEC in court, and we've seen almost every single lawyer on Twitter that we've been following essentially come out and say there is zero logical reason why the SEC should be able to cover these documents with attorney-client privilege. So with that backdrop, I was so confused why Judge netburn would be asking the SEC for 10 more documents. To me, and my initial gut reaction was, this has to be bad for Ripple. It looks like Judge netburn is looking for for an excuse to hand the SEC a win and looking for some kind of way to try to cover the Bill Hinman emails with the attorney-client privilege. But guys, I really was off with one major point in my initial reaction, and that had to do with how thorough Judge Netburn has been to this point. Guys, Judge Netburn to this point really has been on top of everything and has been very fair and very consistent with all her rulings. The more I thought about it, the more unlikely I thought it was that Judge Netburn was gonna try to apply the attorney-client privilege to all 68 SEC documents simply based on a random selection of 10 the SEC decided to hand over to the court. This seemed very unlikely based on Judge Netburn's prior rulings. Now, I have to say, if Judge Netburn was being less consistent and being less thorough throughout this case, then my original reaction might have been fair. But based on how good Judge Netburn has been to this point, I highly doubt she is simply going to make a ruling on all 68 documents based on a random 10 the SEC decided to select. So I reconsidered things. I said I think my initial reaction was off. She is only asking for 10 docs because she plans on ruling for them to go over to Ripple either way. She will use these 10 docs to prove the SEC is wrong on attorney-client privilege. If she was truly unsure, she would have wanted them all. So what I'm saying here is that if Judge Netburn was really unsure about whether these documents should fall under the attorney-client privilege, there is no doubt in my mind she would have asked for all the documents. It's the only thing that makes sense. The only reason Judge Netburn is only asking for 10 documents of the SEC's choice is because she has already made up her mind that these documents are going over to Ripple. But like many of her other rulings, she wants to make it bulletproof. She wants to make sure the SEC cannot appeal it. So what did she do, or what is she going to do? She's going to put the SEC's own documents in her ruling and say, hey, look, you violated attorney-client privilege here, here, and here, and that's why you cannot appeal my decision to hand over these documents to Ripple. And you might be thinking, well, Mickle, that makes sense, but how do we have any proof that Judge Netburn has already made up her mind? And I want to show you guys something very subtle that I saw when I was first reading the actual document itself, but I didn't think much of it. But I talked to attorney Fred, and guys, this is huge, and this shows us that Judge Netburn already made up her mind. Ripple has won these documents, and now it is up to the SEC to try to prove her wrong. Take a look at this. Specifically in her ruling, she says that by June 16th, the SEC may submit 10 additional documents. And if you're thinking what I was first thinking when I read that, I saw the word may, and I was like, why may they hand over the documents? Why would you put out this letter just to tell the SEC you have the choice to give me 10 more documents? So initially when I first saw that, I said, that doesn't make any sense. This must just be legal talk. She must just be saying may in some kind of lawyery talk that I'm not fully grasping. But I reached out to attorney Fred and I said, hey, is Judge Netburn hinting at something here? Or is this just some legal talk that I don't understand? And attorney Fred said something huge. He said, absolutely, didn't catch the may at first, so good job to this guy who saw it. And he said all others who did. It means Judge Netburn has ruled for Ripple and is frustratingly, in my opinion, giving the SEC another chance to change her mind. SEC already gave her their 10 best documents. It may not even provide any more on 6/16. So what attorney Fred is saying here is he's saying that the reason why Judge Netburn said the SEC may hand over 10 documents is because Judge Netburn is hinting to the SEC right here, hey, I already made up my mind and you guys are not gonna win the attorney-client privilege. I have already ruled in favor of Ripple and now it's up to you. Do you want to hand me 10 more docs to change my mind? Because if you don't, Ripple wins this argument. Guys, this is absolutely huge, and Fred also says one more thing at the end that we need to cover. We need to point out that the SEC has already handed over 10 documents from these 68 involving the Ethereum free pass email to Judge Netburn during the DPP ruling, and she ruled against the SEC. So the SEC has already handed over their 10 best documents and are now going to have to hand over 10 more if they want to try to continue to fight this attorney-client privilege. Guys, Fred is pointing out that he thinks the SEC might not even hand over 10 more documents, because if they have to hand over 10 more documents to the court for in-camera review, and these documents are as bad as we think they might be, guys, the SEC might just be digging their hole deeper. This is going to be super interesting to follow, but I think attorney Fred made a very good catch right there, and I think that word may really does signal that Ripple has already won the attorney-client privilege argument, and the court is giving the SEC one last chance to prove to them that the court made the wrong ruling. Guys, if the SEC's last chance is to hand over 10 more of the Ethereum free pass documents, it is not looking good for them. Guys, this is huge. I am super excited for Ripple to finally get their hands on these documents. So guys, I want to finish it off with this. I'm gonna make it quick. You need to see this. The guy who actually authored the Senator Lummis new crypto bill that looks like it's gaining a lot of momentum was on an interview with Laura Shin, and he directly states that he does not believe the SEC has any authority to call XRP itself a security, and he essentially makes it clear that in the new bill, XRP will not be a security. Listen very closely to this. Make sure you listen to this whole thing. This is very important, and it is a very good indication for what's to come.
So you say it so clearly as if it's very well established that tokens like ETH and Aave or whatever these other assets are clearly not securities. But the chair of the SEC, Gary Gensler, has made some noise in the other direction, and he doesn't, I think, view these things as so clear cut. So what makes you so certain, and how would you respond to some of his statements where he seems to think that actually the vast majority of digital assets are securities?
Sure. We have a long promised paper. If you followed me on Twitter, you know, we analyzed all 259, I believe it is, appellate cases involving the Howey test since its inception, every single one of the investment contract cases. And based on that in-depth longitudinal review, I can say with confidence that there's nothing in the case law that supports the idea that an asset that's recognized as not a security should be hypothetically treated as security when it's traded between people who are not otherwise involved in the transaction. Like you and me buying assets on Gemini, or just trading amongst ourselves, or using a decentralized exchange. Moreover, we have the SEC's own words. You may be familiar, if you follow the whole Ripple saga, that a group of disgruntled XRP holders attempted to intervene in the Ripple case as defendants, which is kind of an unlikely thing. And in doing so, they filed a motion with the court in the Ripple action, and the SEC responded. And on page 24 of that response, the SEC acknowledged that the XRP token is not in itself a security. And it said, well, similar to the Gram token in Telegram, it's not a security, but it's the embodiment of an investment contract. And so I think there the SEC kind of put their cards on the table. The problem with the statement on page 24 is it doesn't have a footnote, and there's no case law support, because it's really a novel theory, and it's well within the SEC's rights to advocate for novel theories that an asset that is not a security can somehow embody a scheme. But that's not something that has been adopted by any appellate court, and it's one that presents
So guys, two big things there I want to point out really quickly. This guy wrote the Senator Lummis bill, and he is paying very close attention to this Ripple case. It seems clear to him that XRP is not a security, and he goes as far to say that he doesn't even think the SEC thinks XRP is a security. Guys, we're going to break this down more in depth in the future. There are a few more clips I want to show you, but guys, this is huge. The SEC is getting their butt kicked in this case, and now it looks like even new legislation that is passed is gonna support the fact that XRP is not a security. Guys, what do you think that does for Gary Gensler's confidence in this case? I would guess it destroys it. Thank you so much for coming, guys. I hope you enjoyed this update. Make sure to like and subscribe. It means so much. And for now, Mickle out.